What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy J Dub, the number one comment on YouTube, and I'm back with another review. Today, I will be reviewing. I always got to think about what am I doing. I'm doing um, Ready to Love. This is the finale, but part one. Before I get started, for those who are new to my channel, I do recaps of reality shows. I do a detailed review. I don't go over every single scene, but I try to pick out the most important details and maybe even pick up some details that may have not seen. And for those who are new to my channel, here, as I told you, I am YouTube's number one commenter. So with this channel, I'm seeking, what do I need? I need those comments. I don't ask for the likes. I don't ask for the subscriptions. If you're rocking with your boy J Dub, you're going to like and subscribe anyway. But those comments, I require that because that's what I do it for. That gives me the energy to put out this great content that I'm doing. And I haven't told you, we do have a motto for this channel. The motto of this channel is say what you say. That means talk about anything you want. If you want to talk about Corny Tommy hosting the show and you want him out of here, you want a new host, or if you want to talk about Precious wig, how it's always off, get down in the comments and say it. The only thing I ask is that we respect each other, because this isn't just people commenting. This is a community. This is the Dove fam. So we respect each other. We can go back and forth, debate, laugh, joke, but respect is first and foremost. So let me go ahead and get into the review. So we get down, we see all the cast members show up. I was really surprised by that. Why? Because I didn't expect to see Tina. Normally, like when shows have issues with cast members, they just won't show for some reason. Like another excuse: Tina had car trouble, or Tina couldn't get a babysitter. But Tina was actually there, and I didn't expect to see it because she was labeled the ghoster of the group or whatever. She's supposed to have a track record of ghosting people. That's the narrative that they put out. And I can say overall, generally, the looks like everybody had on were pretty decent. A lot of times, especially the last Ready Love cast, there were a lot of issues going on or bad choices. So I'm gonna say overall, we got a few exceptions who I really could point out, but I won't go too hard on, like Laverne. I don't care how trendy or fashion. I don't care if LeBron James is wearing or whatever. Wearing a fitted short set suit or whatever is a no-go, regardless of what it costs and who wear it. And next thing you know, I'm surprised they didn't put the man bag on Laverne as well. So other than him, who else we got? Cornelius. Not Smiley from last season, but Cousin Cornbread. Cousin Cornbread had a normal suit on, so I can't knock him for that, because wasn't nothing wrong with it. It just looked like he was going to his son's sixth grade graduation, because everybody had like some type of showpiece, some paisley, some colors, different stuff. Yeah, when you're on television with millions of people, you don't supposed to look like, it's just, you got a PTA meeting or something like that. And I can't forget nephew Tommy looking like a red tomato. But other than that, everybody else was cool. I can't go too hard on them. They did much better than the last year. I definitely could go on and on about last year. So Tommy he was talking to all the cast members, and he asked a great question, I thought. He asked that did people enjoy having like the new blind date format, as like treating those as curveballs? And Sabrina answered, she was like, well, it was kind of, I guess, stressful adding new people on or whatever, but the more the merrier. Like I said, it was contradictory, but you got to make it sound good, like they're doing the right thing. I wasn't on the cast member. I wasn't one of them, but I would say I hated that idea. Like, to me, you're inserting new people mid-season who hadn't started out with everybody else, because that is a thing. People are kind of getting to know each other, and then you just pop in other people. And not only that, I would say it plays on our intelligence when you say, well, they just going on a blind date. And next thing you know, they're part of the cast. Like, what qualifies that? I hate it. I'm so ready for this show to go back to the old winning format that was working. The resort format. Do that. People are stuck there. They only can concentrate on each other. They ain't going to work or they ain't missing a date or whatever. Keep them trapped on the island. Keep them in the rooms. Keep them just on the grounds, and that makes it better. It makes it a whole lot better. But I would say Tommy made another good point. Normally I'm not a Tommy fan. I think they need a new host as well. But Tommy was saying, well, it's been a lot going on with the cast members putting stuff out on social media. So he really wanted to get to the bottom of it, but he was saying that they were really kind of reserved. So I don't know if they needed time to warm up or they talk big stuff on on the social media, but they get real shy when it's time to get on stage. So we got a segment with Sabrina. Sabrina, she's asked about her choosing, her love triangle with Demetrius, Donovan, and Tori, and then the Truth or Dare game comes up where they have a clip of her trying to decide if she wants to nibble on the ear of Tori or nibble on the ear of Demetrius because nobody knew. Everybody assumed that it was going to be Tori, and she had to actually, I guess she felt she had to defend herself against that question against Tori because even Tommy was like, well, I assumed or I knew that it was going to be Tori. I guess what he was giving off, and Tori was even saying, even the cameraman was saying, damn, she ain't choose you. Normally they all up on each other or whatever, but pretty much after that question, she kind of got into it with Joy because they got into like people. I mean, because actually Sabrina had brought her into it and saying Joy kind of heightened that situation because Joy was more so instigating like, oh, I thought it was definitely gonna be Tori, like go over there to Tori, and she felt that embarrassed Tori and kind of put gasoline put gasoline on the fire or whatever. She just blew it up for no reason. And she do have a point because Joy has a tendency to kind of like want to be like a scene still. She got to make some type of funny face or yell out or get into a conversation. Like Joy's the star of the show. From the beginning, Joy was one of my favorite characters, but more and more, all the way up to the reunion, she's one of my least favorite characters or cast members or what have you. And Sabrina, like I said, she was more so offended, and Joy was explaining like, well, the reason I said that it was Tori because that's who you were talking about in deliberations or whatever, and Sabrina, you could tell her and Joy got some little nastiness going on. She said like the key word is assume or whatever. So Tori really wasn't a guy. She had connections with different people, and they were just going at a catty back and forth or whatever, and Tommy tried to calm it down and just say more so like let's agree to disagree. But because they had a lot of little catty comments going on, I would say production did a really good job of capturing people's facial expression because that's where you really kind of see if like whatever comment or joke really hit home, and they did a really good job. Of course, it's always said that something is going on with like Ready to Love now with the reunion, how the lighting is funny and it's bad and all that kind of stuff. You can tell it looks different. It looks a little low budget. It looks like something is missing. So we see it as far as one of the couples that are still together, which is Donovan and Carmen. I'm not really impressed with that. I would say with that couple because it was another kind of ready to settle kind of situation. Like they chose each other. Like, of course, Carmen didn't really have anybody. She had some prospects, but she kind of locked on to Donovan because he showed interest. And more so because Sabrina really wasn't feeling Donovan anymore. And, they just kind of got together. And it all seemed fake. Even so from the last show, when they met at the bridge or whatever, and Donovan pulling out his passport and blank piece of paper like he get ready to take Carmen on a trip around the world or whatever. And I just like I said, I wasn't really feeling it. But Tommy wanted to know. he was saying like, well, Carmen, you did choose to be ready to love to Donovan, but what about P.O.? And Tommy, I don't know if he have a thing against P.O. He kind of I think he kind of picks at P.O. or whatever, because he asked P.O. about the connection with Carmen and just insinuated like, well, P.O., were you ready to love Carmen, or could you handle it? And what man wouldn't say, yeah, I can handle it. That's what P.O. said, yeah, I can handle it. But it wasn't about handling. It was just that Carmen just wasn't the right one, because I really like how P.O. handled her at the beach house. She was all up in his face eating a salad. He wasn't feeling her, because you can tell when people got that disingenuous vibe going on. And I would say P.O. just he put it real clear, concise, and it was real simple. It was just like, well, everything was happen as it should, because that's one of the models I live by. Like, I don't believe the luck. I believe it's already written how it's going to be. So you just never know where you end at, but that's where you're supposed to be. Just something I believe. And I would say P.O. he wasn't really into Karma like that, because for real he wanted Tina. I could tell, because it was almost like he was at the camp or the lake house just waiting on her, and he got like real disappointed or whatever. I don't know what kind of conversations or dates they had, but he was kind of like locked in on her. As I said from the last one, P.O. wanted he wanted a PYT, not an auntie. That was his thing. You could tell he was really into her. So Carmen was way off the radar. So we go over to a situation with the kid and Eric, and I'm really surprised that they showed that, because I forgot about that instant where I guess Eric graciously, I use my fingers, backed out because he inappropriately touched the kid. And it was a situation where, it was explained, people were like insinuating what happened, but it was just a thing where they had like a group activity, and I don't know who made the remark that Eric was posing with the kid like a prom picture, and he took it up a notch, like, oh well, I'm gonna show you a prom picture. And I guess he didn't grab something up in here, up in this area, and the kid let him know right away that was inappropriate and that she wasn't going for that. And Eric, he apologized. He said he apologized again for, I guess, reading her wrong and hurting her feelings. And I hate the way that Tommy, he jumps in everybody's conversation, more so like he's trying to finish a sentence or dial something down before a conversation get good. But the situation with Eric, it went from like an apology to like a defense mode where he got to like pretty much cussing at the kid, trying to like, I guess, defend his character or what have you, and saying like, it wasn't that bad, or he didn't really mess up like that or whatever. And I would think that was the time where Tommy would interject himself to, like, he claims he's big on respect, so how could he sit there and let him cuss at her like that? So I was really confused about that. But then, in that little negative exchange with Eric and the kid, here come Joy with that crazy hysterical laugh, or she like supporting Eric or whatever. And when I saw that, I was like, you know what? I'm liking Joy less and less. She comes off more like of an instigator, like she kind of thrives off negativity. Because I even think about when she was like at the beach house when Tina wasn't showing up, or like when she ain't here, and it's an attitude thing. It's okay not to really care about her, but it's something with Joy, and it's something that ain't good. So, like I said, she used to be my favorite, but not so much. That thriving off negativity doesn't work for me. So pretty much the same with that back and forth with Eric and Dakia. Tommy likes to simplify. Well, you had an infraction, you've apologized, and let's just move on or whatever. Let's just brush it under the rug. Eric could have just apologized and left it with that, but they got into a back and forth about who was right, who was wrong in the situation. So That's another thing. So we go into the Sabrina love triangle with Demetrius, Donovan, Tori, and Sabrina was telling Tommy like it was a real adjustment from her, I guess, being married of 10 years, and now she's juggling three different connections. I don't want to say relationships, and I would say, especially on this segment, Donovan really earned that bitter baby title that Sabrina gave him because like um his energy was off. He was real like he was hurt behind it. I'm thinking like, hey, don't he supposed to be happy with Carmen riding off in the sunset? They having a wonderful life, taking a trip around the world and all that. But he definitely seems very bitter. And he actually called Auntie Dakia and Precious. He called them the Golden Girls or whatever because they spoke on confirming the situation of what Sabrina was saying, that like he was worried about rankings, and he was talking about really he could have had a connection with Joy like that. And I was like, did we miss something? Because I never saw Donovan and Joy interact at all, and I thought she was always locked on Clifton. I mean, to me, Clifton and Joy were playing the game where they were kind of entertain other people, but really they were, like I said, they had a pact to me from the beginning. They were locked in, but I totally believe that, especially when you have witnesses and seeing that bitter side of Donovan. Like again, he was playing the game. The man, what, he'd been married, he'd been divorced maybe 3 months or whatever, and really is he in the game or ready for exposure? Not really ready for love. And they did also reveal Donovan also told. He actually went back and told Demetrius later on that him and Sabrina had kissed, and I'm like, he Gary upgrade from bitter baby to something else I don't really want to say, even though I say what I say. When I don't want to say it, I mean I want to cuss, and that shows the type of lack of character that he has. He gossiping worse than a woman, but he did that intentionally to try to mess up what Sabrina and Demetrius could have had going on. He's bitter. If he was happy with dealing with Carmen, that's where he should have left it. And I still don't get the fact that like in this process, when you're dating multiple people knowingly, you have to tell a person like, hey, I had a 3-hour and 54-minute conversation with such and such last night. Or hey, I gave such and such 2 kisses and a rub. And why do I gotta tell you that? You know we are exploring our connection, so why I gotta give you that information? Unless we lock in and say, hey, like Joy and Clifton, it's me and you, so I shouldn't be entertaining nobody else if we locked in or the eggs all in one basket. I just don't get that. I don't get that for a man or a woman in this process. So we get to the Laverne segment, and it confirms like what I've always said or thought about him. Laverne is very delusional. Laverne is weird. Laverne is not positive. I'm trying to be nice. He gives off that fake self-confidence. Like, yeah, he's better than everybody. When I walk in the room, I'm better than Barack and Jay-Z and anybody you can think of. Anybody that's good. I'm better than Thurgood Marshall. I'm better. And he always has done that. So if anybody walks in the room, it's almost like he's threatened by another man's presence. So he has to kind of down them. Oh, they're nobody. They're nothing. They're not better than me and all of that. And Laverne actually explained where he got his conspiracy theory that Sabrina and others were plotting against him. And he has said he actually got it from, I think he said he got it through Ace by the way of Precious. And when they were explaining, like Sabrina and them, I mean, because I mean, this is just me. I think it even having like deliberations outside of the deliberation room is tainting the process. However, we know all groups do it, men and women. But the fact of the matter, they were just having conversations about like, I guess who they were talking about or thinking about. But it wasn't no kind of plot against Laverne. Laverne is like paranoid. Laverne got some issues going on. And yes, he's definitely one of the least favorite cast members on that. So I totally believe what Sabrina is saying about it was no type of plot against him. And when that meeting of, I guess when Sabrina was going to eliminate him, Laverne just like went way off top. And, some people thought Sabrina was in the right. Some people thought Laverne was in the right. I don't know how they thought Laverne was in the right. Like, you could tell he had a chip on his shoulder. I mean, if Laverne should have went off on anybody, it should have been Precious when he was like on the bottom before that, because Precious talked to him crazy. I mean, there's a such thing as being honest, but like she was like brutal with the tongue, and she definitely called him a narcissist and all that, because that's not something, I guess, complimentary, or you have to take on the chin, like, you're a narcissist and a psycho and all. You ain't got to say, okay, yeah, that's your point. No, you ain't got to take that. That's an insult. So it like I said, it just really showed what type of person Laverne, what I always thought he was, and he's definitely like he wasn't right for the show. He ain't ready to love. And I mean, they even confirmed or showed the part pretty much where he was good with Ace. Like, that was his connection, that he would, I guess he got eliminated by Sabrina, and the production asked him about, so what about Ace? You gonna leave her behind? Or he's like, well, I'm good with that. I'm good with just going off into the sunset with me and my dog, just be me and my dog. And it just kind of showed that he wasn't serious about the process. However, we did find out that Ace and Laverne was in contact after the show, and they actually pursued some type of a deeper relationship. But it not surprisingly, it did not work, because Ace, she explained that Laverne could not provide the type of, I guess, relationship that she wanted. And I get that, because you can see Laverne isn't a conventional person. And to me, he'd be lying or talking about, I've never connected with a woman. I never talked to a woman. Man been married with 2 kids or whatever. I don't even know women like that. He'll say stuff like that. And it sounds off. And I like the way Ace, because this is the first time I really heard Ace explain something in clarity or whatever, because more so if she's talking with anybody else. I saw her when she eliminated herself, when she talked to Tori, and it was all this light and love and all of that. She really explained herself thoroughly where I can understand it, and everybody they enjoyed her answer, except I did too, except when they was clicking their fingers. I hate when people do that, like, you're at the poetry club. That's a pet peeve of mine. I got a whole bunch of them though, so something might be wrong with me. But pretty much it ended on that way, where Laverne was kind of getting in an argument with Precious, going on the back and forth about who's lying about the information. So we pick up on part 2, and overall the reunion was it was okay. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. But it did feel like a commercial came on like every 47 seconds, and after that it was like, oh, it's over already. So I would have liked to gotten a little bit more, but I definitely don't want a part 3, because I don't want no more. I don't want to have to be dragged out more than it was. So pretty much that was it. Like I said, get down in the comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me something I missed, and let's get at it with the comments. It's the best part. I can't wait. So y'all keep rocking with me. Appreciate your patience trying to get these videos out. Again, as I explained for those who don't know, I'm on a real estate journey, so it kind of messes with my scheduling. So I'll do my best to get these videos out whenever I can. And as I tell y'all could be anywhere in this YouTube world, but you're here with me. I really appreciate it, and I really mean it.